What makes a good worship guitar? Do they have single coil pickups, humbucker pickups? Today, we're going to take a look at which is better for praise and worship music. Coming right up. Welcome to Budget Worship Leaders, helping you lead better worship on a budget. My name's Rob, welcome to the channel. There are two main kinds of pickups in a guitar, humbucking and single coils. Most guitars have one type or the other. There are a few models that have both. There are some other options, but for simplicity's sake, we'll just stick to the main two for right now. A single coil pickup is made of a bobbin with wire wrapped around it, magnets in the middle. Here I have a Telecaster style guitar. These are probably the most popular type of guitar used in praise and worship, and for good reason. They have single coil pickups, which means they have a very, very clear voicing, and that just fits into a typical praise and worship mix perfectly. A good portion of the tone that you hear in praise and worship music comes from the neck pickup of a Telecaster. There's a clarity and a chime in the voicing of a single coil pickup that lends itself really well to this type of music, and the pickup cuts through the mix with a chimey, bell-like tone. In this particular Telecaster, the neck pickup is a different kind of single coil called a lipstick pickup. Lipstick pickups have a very airy, chimey sound to them. It really does amazing for praise and worship music. This has made these guitars very, very popular for this kind of music. But the truth is, it's not the only option. Stratocasters are much less popular in praise and worship music, and for a good reason. But that has absolutely nothing to do with the tone. Stratocasters are actually a really good option. I've never gotten along with the bridge pickup on a Strat. To me, they just have too much of a funk, blues spank in their tone. And that's just my personal preference. But there are some companies that make an HSS Strat, which means it has a humbucker in the bridge pickup position and then single coil for the middle and the neck pickups. These guitars are absolutely amazing for praise and worship tones. The pros of a single coil guitar is the clarity, especially when it's being played through a clean channel. Makes it really noticeable. The downside is that single coil pickups tend to get really noisy, especially when you crank them up. Now here's a playing example of this particular Telecaster style guitar. I'm playing through my Line 6 Pod Go, which is my multi-effects processor and amp modeler. And I'm using a patch that I created. There's a link in the description down below where you can pick up one of these. Also, another link will be down there where you can get this patch for it for free. On the other side of the coin is the humbucker style guitar. There's several options for these that are really common in praise and worship music. The main humbucker guitars that you'll see in praise and worship are usually from Gretsch or Paul Reed Smith or even Duesenberg. Perhaps the most famous humbucker style guitar is the Gibson Les Paul. Single cut Les Paul style guitars have really had a recent surge in popularity and in praise and music worship. The difference in tone is real noticeable. Humbucker pickups are essentially two single coil pickups that are put together with the polarity on the second coil being opposite in the magnets. This cancels out any hum that comes from the single coil guitars and takes care of a lot of the noise. They're a completely different voicing and a completely different sound. They have a more fat, round tone to them. Humbuckers come in three basic styles. You have low output, medium output, and high output. Active pickups, which are battery powered. You can also get high output passive pickups, but they tend to be very noisy, and you don't see a lot of those in praise and worship for that reason. A humbucking pickup tends to have a muddier tone when it's clean, and it can get a lot crunchier when you turn up the distortion. And a lot of aftermarket companies make humbucking pickups that sound like they were absolutely designed for praise and worship music. There really isn't a downside to humbucker pickups other than the fact that some people just prefer the clean tone of a single coil. But that lack of clarity is really subjective, and some people just prefer it. This particular guitar is a Firefly Les Paul. I've already done a review on it. There's a link to that review right there. This guitar has aftermarket pickups. They're made by a company called Bare Knuckle, and they're called Rebel Yell pickups. Now they're a medium output pickup, and they sound absolutely amazing when distorted, but when you roll off the volume knob, it cleans up really well to almost a single coil-like clarity. Before we get to the final analysis, I'd just like you to ask to hit the like button if you're getting value out of this video. That will allow me to get this video out in front of more beginner and budget worship leaders. And hit subscribe if you'd like to see more gear breakdowns like this, where I try to help you find the best budget equipment to fit your worship team. Comment down below, tell me, what's your favorite type of guitar? The final answer is, there really isn't one option better than the other. Both options have their strength, and ultimately, you should really just play whatever feels and whatever sounds better to you. Most guitar players are going to prefer one over the other, and whichever you prefer is going to be the right answer for you. I have both because I like the strength of each option. This Les Paul is my absolute favorite guitar, but there are some songs that I'd rather play on my Telecaster just because of the way the voicing is on it and how it fits into the mix on certain songs better. So whichever guitar inspires you to play more, inspires you to experiment more with your tone, and feels better to you, that's the correct choice. So keep playing, experimenting, and finding your voice. Check out these videos to learn more about these guitars. I'll see you in the next video.